I will start off just with a little bit of I guess, a disclaimer. Sorry, I know that sounds really boring, but obviously we're not in a studio, so I can't see kind of what your bodies look like. I don't know kind of your ability, where you're starting from. It is super gentle. I'm not throwing in anything wild, I promise. But what I will say is, if there's anything that doesn't feel good, if there's anything that feels a bit niggly, a bit uncomfortable, if you've got any injuries, especially that you're working with, please do move really mindfully. You know your body better than anyone else in the world. So if something's not feeling great, just ease off, take a rest. I'll present loads of different options. So hopefully that won't be an issue, but just thought I would drop that in. And then just quickly before we get going, if you did want to practice to some music, I do have some playlists on Spotify, which is, if I pop it here, you can find it. Some people like music, some people don't, but this is me on Spotify, and I've got various yogi playlists on there. Otherwise, we will get going. So just find a place where you can sit really comfortably. It can really help, especially if you've got tight hips. Like I said, I have hips that are made of concrete. So I sit up on a cushion. It can be anything. You can fold up a little blanket. Something that just raises the hips up above the thighs can really, really help to just find a little bit more comfort. So take your time, find a comfortable seat that works for you. If cross-legged doesn't work, you can kneel. If kneeling doesn't work, by all means, you can lay down. Just try not to fall asleep if you're laying down. We will be here for a few minutes just to kind of arrive arrive at our practice and sort of slow the mind down for a minute. So take whatever time you need to get nice and comfy. If you're feeling a bit sort of niggly now, then that's just going to kind of amplify, and that's just where your mind will go to. And we really want to bring some stillness into the mind. So take whatever time you need, get comfy, find a seat. And then once you're there, once you're set up, maybe bring the eyes to a really nice, gentle close, if that feels comfortable. If for whatever reason you're just not comfortable with the eyes closed, for some people it can be quite anxiety inducing. So if that's you, you can just bring them to a really soft, gentle gaze in front. Just gaze down at the mat in front of you. Really just find something that works and that feels good. Something that allows you to just hit pause, even if just for the next few moments. I'm sure if you've been taking part over the next couple of days, there's a lot of information perhaps. Maybe you've been sat at your desk watching the amazing talks, which is brilliant, of course, but sitting at the desk, staring at screens, etc., we all know by now, after a little while, does take its toll. So we're going to move through some shapes that can really help to undo all of that. It can help just loosen us up, grease the grooves a little. But as with any yoga practice, we'll start by settling the mind. We'll start by arriving at our mat, at our practice. So start to bring your awareness to any parts of your body that are in contact with the ground. If you're seated, maybe the sit bones, legs. If you're in a reclined position, perhaps your entire back body. Just noticing any sensations that you might feel there, without judgment or without any extra narrative, just noticing how you feel right now. Checking in physically, mentally, emotionally. Notice when we start to hit pause, when we find some stillness, is there anything that bubbles up to the surface? If there is, that's fine. Just notice it, observe it, and then put some distance between you and whatever sensation that might be. With kindness, compassion, Just let it drift on by and then bring the mind back into the body, here and now. I really want to encourage each and every one of you to approach this practice and the rest of today with a beginner's mindset. There's a really fantastic story that really resonates with me about a Buddhist monk who turns to his guru, his teacher, begging him for more knowledge, for lessons. And he comes to him with his cup. They take part in this beautiful, intricate tea ceremony. And his guru starts filling his cup with this hot tea. And the cup quickly fills up and the guru keeps pouring. Of course, the tea spills over the edges, pours over the monk's hands onto the floor, and he pours all of the tea away. And the monk says, why on earth have you done that? To which his guru says, if your cup is full, there's nothing more I can pour into it. If you want to learn, you first need to empty your cup. So here and now, let's each and every one of us empty our cup. Ready to take on this practice and the rest of today with a beginner's mindset. I'm going to talk us through some guided breathing. So first of all, just bring your attention to your breath as it currently is. Notice how it behaves. Notice each inhale as it fills the lungs. Notice each exhale as it brings a sense of softness. Not controlling the breath, just observing. Notice where you feel that breath most prominently. That might be in the nostrils, perhaps, down the back of the throat, maybe the movement of the chest or the belly. Just observing where the breath travels, where the breath instinctively moves to, and how it behaves. Maybe now starting to deepen the breath. Let each inhale become a little longer. With each exhale, let the shoulders soften, let the face soften. Let the body sink a little heavier into the mat. You can absolutely stay here, just keep breathing deeply. Or if you do want to come with me, we'll go through some guided breathing. We'll be inhaling for a count of 4, and we'll be exhaling for a count of 6. Lengthening that exhale is such a great way to activate what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the part of our nervous system that really slows everything down, calms everything down, allows the body to rest and digest. You might have heard of fight and flight. So this is the opposite, rest and digest. So if you do want to come with me, if that sounds like something you want to try, we'll start by breathing in deeply, filling up the lungs, and then exhale, sigh everything out of the mouth. Seal down the lips. We'll breathe in through the nose for 2, 3, 4, and then we'll exhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale for 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale for 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can stick with this rhythm if it feels good. If that's not feeling good for any reason, if it's bringing up any feelings of tension, just stick with some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. I'm going to spend a few minutes here just with you and your breath. And whenever you're ready, let's bring the hands together into a prayer position, and we'll start to rub the palms together to generate a little bit of heat. Rub them together quite quickly, quite hard. Build up some energy, some heat there. When they're feeling nice and warm, we'll place the palms over the closed eyes and then blink your eyes open into the hands as you start to slowly let some daylight back in. And we'll blink the eyes open nice and slowly. And then when you're ready, let's inhale, sweep both hands up to the sky. Really reach out through the fingertips. At the same time, let the shoulders be soft. So we're not wearing the shoulders as earrings. Let the shoulder blades melt back and down while you reach up through the fingertips. Take a nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, we'll start to twist. So the left hand is going to find the right thigh. Right hand comes behind. We can use that as a bit of an anchor point. And just find some space in the twist. However much space is there, I don't mind. Just take it nice and easy. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. Let this twist come from your core. Take a nice deep inhale as we come through center. Sweep both arms high, and we'll take it the other way. Exhaling as the right hand finds the left thigh. Left hand comes behind, and we twist to the left. Maybe the gaze comes over the left shoulder if that feels okay on the neck. Just find what space is there and move into it. Take a nice deep inhale as we come back through center. We'll take that once more, twisting towards the right. Inhale through center, exhaling towards the left. Inhale, we'll come through center. Keep the arms up high this time. Now as we exhale, that right hand's going to come down and find the mat. Take an inhale, grow long through this left hand. As we exhale, we'll start to side bend over towards the right. This grounded right hand, this elbow can bend as much or as little as you like. We're just opening up space down the side body. Inhale as we come back through center. Exhale, once again, we'll take it on over to the left. Right hand reaches up and over. Breathe into the right side body. Feel that space open up. Inhale, we'll come through center. And as we exhale, we'll rock it on over to the other side. Inhale, final time through center. And as we exhale, we'll take it over to the left. Really reach over with that top hand. Inhale, both arms reach up high. Maybe we look up between the palms if that feels good. As we exhale, hands come down into heart center. We'll start to get into the neck and the shoulders a little bit now. So take a deep inhale, hunch the shoulders up towards the ears. And as we exhale, shoulders melt back and down. Inhale, shoulders scrunch up. And as we exhale, they melt down. Final time, take a nice deep inhale, really shrug those shoulders. As we exhale, they melt back and down. Really nice. Take a deep inhale here. On your exhale, we'll start to move the right ear towards the right shoulder. Getting all down the left side of the neck. Our neck often goes neglected. There's often a lot of tightness here, especially for office workers like me. Take a deep inhale as you are. As you exhale, start to roll the chin forwards ever so slowly, probably even slower than you might like to. Tucking the chin into the chest as you roll through center, and then take a deep inhale as you roll on up the other side. Left ear hangs towards the left shoulder. Really nice. Inhale. Exhale as you roll it through center. Again, moving slowly. If you find any sticky bits en route, Feel free to pause, breathe into it, use the breath. We'll go once more as we exhale, roll it through, chin tucks into the chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, final time, chin tucks into chest. Shush. And the right ear comes to the right shoulder. Really nice. Take an inhale, chin comes down to the chest, or an exhale, sorry, chin to the chest. Inhaling, head lifts up. Really nice, everyone. The cat has definitely come to join in. We're going to come to find our all fours, so I'm not too fussed about how you get there. You can cross over at the ankles. However you want to get there, we're going to come into our tabletop. So we're on all fours, wrists stack directly under the shoulders, knees align under the hips. And we want a nice neutral spine here. So push through the palms. Fingers spread really nice and wide in the mat. And we push so that we're creating a sense of lift through the shoulder blades. There's a tendency here to sort of drop down. We really want to push and stay active here. Hips aligning over the knees. From here, let's take some cat-cows. So as we inhale, belly drops down as the chest and the gaze lifts. As we exhale, push through the hands, chin tucks into the chest, and the tailbone tucks under. So we round through the spine. Inhale into our cow belly, belly drops, chest and the gaze lifts. As we exhale, chin tucks, tailbone tucks in, and we round into our angry cats. Last time, let's inhale, let the belly drop as the chest and the gaze lifts. As we exhale, we round through the spine, mobilizing down the entire spine here. And then if it feels good, I encourage you to just explore some free movement here. Rolling around through the chest, you can close down the eyes and just wriggle it out. Whatever feels good to you, there's no rules. Just do something that feels good. You can sit the bum all the way back. Maybe you stick with those cat-cows. There's just a lot that you can really learn when you close down the eyes and just let the body really feel it out. You can really notice where some of those sticking points are. So have a bit of fun. Have a bit of a wriggle. And then eventually we'll find our all fours once again. So check in on that alignment. Hands spread nice and wide. Wrists align under the shoulders. Push through the palms. Knees are under the hips. From here, let's take a nice deep inhale and we'll lift that right leg out behind us. That right leg can extend out. Maybe this is where we stay. If you want a little more, you can also extend the left hand. So opposite arm to leg. Left hand reaches out as the right leg reaches out behind. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, wherever you are, that knee's going to squeeze in. If the left hand's also reaching out, left elbow squeezes to the knee. Take an inhale as we reach out. Exhale as we squeeze in. Inhale to reach out. Exhale to squeeze in. Inhale, final time. We'll reach out. Exhale. Both hands on the mat if they weren't already. Both knees to the mat. And we'll wriggle it out between sides. And then we'll just take that on the other side. So take a nice deep inhale. That left leg is going to extend out long. Maybe this is where we stay. If you do want a little more, we can reach the right hand forward. This is just an option. See how you feel. See what feels good in your body. Take a deep inhale. Reach out long. As we exhale, we squeeze in. Inhale to reach. Exhale, we squeeze everything in. Inhale to reach out long. Exhale to squeeze it in last time. Inhale as we reach. As we exhale, bring everything down to the mat. Take any wriggles you might want to take between sides. And then we'll get into the wrists a little bit. The wrists are so neglected in yoga. And again, for us office workers among us, our wrists just don't get anywhere near enough love. So again, with the hands and the wrists directly under the shoulders, just start to slowly walk the hands out. So the fingertips point to what would be 9 and 3 on the clock face. And just gently move ever so mindfully with the wrists here. We'll start to rock it from side to side. Again, maybe this is where we stay, or option, if you want it, only an option. We can walk the fingers back towards us. So the fingers point towards us, The wrists point forwards. And then find a gentle rock back and forwards. Find a lovely stretch down that forearm. Move ever so mindfully here. And then we'll come out the way we came in. We'll walk the hands out so the fingertips are pointing left and right, have a bit of a wriggle. And then eventually the fingers point forward. Really nice, everyone. From here, we're going to find our downward puppy or our melting heart. There's about 1,000,001 names for this pose. So we're from our all fours. Hips stay over the knees. And then we just start to walk the hands forwards and the chest starts to lower towards the mat. The chest most likely won't touch the mat unless you've got an awful lot of flexibility. But maybe the forehead finds the mat. If it does, let the head rest heavy, heavy. I'm hoping you can see me. As you reach the hands forward, hips stay over the knees. If you're finding that the head is 1,000,000 miles away, you can stack the fists and rest the head like that. Or you can grab yourself a cushion and rest the head there. As you reach the hands forward, finding an opening down the front of the body, through the shoulders. And just find a moment of rest here, wherever you are. Check back in with the breath. Check in how the breath feels, how the breath behaves here. Maybe checking where you can feel that breath most prominently now in this different shape. We'll come out with a nice deep inhale. Start walking the hands back towards the body. We're into our all fours. And from here, we'll come into our child's pose. So knees come as wide as the mat. Big toes come together to touch. And then we just start to sit the bum back towards the heels. Maybe the bum sits comfortably on the heels. Maybe the bum's all the way up here. It really just depends on your flexibility, your anatomy. So don't stress. It's all good. Hands reach forwards just like before. And then we start to let the forehead come down to the mat. Once again, if the forehead feels like it's just light years away from the mat, please don't worry about it. You can make yourself a little pillow and just rest here. Our child's pose is a wonderful place of rest. So if at any point throughout this practice, things get a bit much for whatever reason, this is a lovely place to come back to. Creating our own little bubble, our own little home on the mat. We can turn inwards. You can close down the eyes here. Check in on what it is that you need. Check back in on that breath. Check in on any sensations, anything that bubbles to the surface. Know that you're in a completely safe space to just breathe with it. If this is feeling good, if you want to stay here, you absolutely can. Knowing that if all you did was stay here for the next half an hour or so and just worked with your breath, you are absolutely doing yoga by all intents and purposes. Or if you want to come with me, we're going to rise on up into our first downward dog. So hands plant into the mat, just like in our all fours. Fingers spread really nice and wide. Root down through the base of each knuckle, especially down through the base of the index finger and the thumb. We'll lift the hips on up, bring the knees back into a neutral position, and then tuck the toes under. And then from here, we'll push down through the hands as the hips lift up and back, up and back, up and back. So we push through the hands as the hips lift. So it's this sense of pushing and lifting. Knees can absolutely bend here. If you've been to a yoga class before and they've told you that heels need to come to the mat, they lied to you. That is not any interest of mine in downward dog. Let the head hang heavy. Let your priority be the length down the spine. So creating as much space between the hands and the tailbone as possible. And you can wiggle this one out, you can feel it out, maybe inhaling as you straighten through the right leg, exhaling as you swap it over, so you start to pedal out through the legs. This is a gorgeous stretch for the hamstrings, the calves, all down the backs of the legs. Or maybe you just want to find some stillness here. Take a nice deep inhale just as you are. As you exhale, we'll gaze forwards between the hands. And then on an inhale, ever so gently, just start to walk the feet up to meet the hands. So we find ourselves in this forward fold position. Maybe your hands are up here, maybe they're comfortably on the mat. It really doesn't matter. Bend into the legs as much as you need to. I have hamstrings that are made of steel, so they just don't flex as much as I'd like. Take a nice deep inhale, bring the hands to the shins or the thighs, and we'll flatten out the spine. Gaze comes forward. Exhale as we fold all the way forward. We're into our Uttanasana, our forward fold. So the head hangs heavy, crown of the head points to the ground. Deep bend in the knees if you need that. Let the belly rest to the thighs. As we inhale, we'll roll on up. We'll come into stand. Roll through the spine. One vertebrae at a time, stacked on top of one another. When you get to the top, arms sweep up high. Maybe they meet in a prayer above the head. Maybe not. See what works for the shoulders. As we exhale, hands come down through heart center. We're going to move through a couple of our sun salutations. So I was chatting about these at the beginning. These are really a fundamental part of our vinyasa practice, and they're so beneficial for our physical practice. So we'll take a moment to set up in our Tadasana, check in on the feet. Feet around about sitting bones distance apart or hip distance apart, toes spread nice and wide. Hands down besides the body, palms face forward. Think about pulling everything up from your feet upwards. So you can think about trying to separate the feet out to the sides. They won't move, but it will find some activation down the outside of the legs. So think about pulling your feet apart, or trying to think about exaggerating the arches of your feet. And then think about pulling the kneecaps up, activate all the muscles in the thighs, pull all the thigh muscles up, squeeze the bum, tuck the tailbone under, hug the belly button in towards the spine, grow long and tall out through the crown of the head, hands rest heavy besides the body, palms face forward. From here, let's take a nice deep inhale, arms sweep up, maybe meeting overhead. As we exhale, we swan dive, arms come out wide and we fold forwards. As we inhale, we come into our halfway lift, hands find the shins or thighs, gaze is forward, spine is long. As we exhale, hands plant into the mat, we'll step it back into our plank. Now this can either be a high plank or knees can absolutely come down. Wherever we are, push through the hands, dome through the upper back. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, keep hugging those elbows into the body. We'll lower the chest and the belly, all meet the mat at the same time. From here, we'll take an inhale as we push through the hands and we lift the chest just a little into our low cobra. Exhale, chest lowers. Tuck the toes, we can push back through our all fours. And we're coming back towards our downward dog. So hips, push up and back. Push through the hands, let the head hang heavy. Take a couple of your breaths here. And again, if you want to find some movement, if you want to feel it out a little, you absolutely can. Or if you're ready for stillness, you can find stillness. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, gaze comes forward. Inhale as we walk the feet up to meet the hands, however you want to get there. Once you get to the top, we'll inhale into that halfway lift. Exhale, let the head hang heavy. Inhale as we roll on up. Arms sweep up high. Exhale, hands come down. So that's one sun salutation. We'll take that again. We'll start to move with the breath. Start to tap in to that rhythm of the breath and let that carry us through. So take a deep inhale. Hands sweep up high. Exhale as we fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, step it back into your plank or half plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale to lower to the mat. Inhale into your cobra. Exhale, the toes tuck. We come back through our all fours. Push our hips up and back. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, soften. Find comfort here. Take a deep inhale once more. As you exhale, gaze comes forward. On an inhale, we'll walk up to the top of the mat. Hands find the shins or the thighs. On an inhale, we flatten out the spine. Gaze comes forwards. Exhale, head hangs heavy. Inhale, we'll roll on up. Final time. Arms sweep up high. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. So that's a couple of sun salutations. You could just do these, one of these every morning, and you'd really be laughing. So from here, let's step our right foot backwards with some control. We're landing in a bit of a lunge shape. So we're on the ball of this right foot. Nice deep bend in the left foot. Hands can come down to the mat, and then we'll lower down that right knee. So we're coming into our low lunge, our Anjana Yasana. So right knee is down. Nice deep bend in this left knee. This left knee wants to stack over the left ankle. Hands are down to the mat. Hug the inner thighs together. Hug the belly button in towards the spine. We'll take a deep inhale as we sweep the arms up high. Exhale, let's bring the hands to the hips. Notice what's happening in the hips here. There's a tendency for this right hip to start to move backwards, especially if you're tight in the hip flexors, down the front of the hip and down the quads. If you're super tight there, again, just like I am, there's a tendency for this right hip to come back and this left hip to come forward. So with the hands on the hips, can you guide that right hip forward and guide this left hip backwards? So we're squaring the hips off to the front. You might feel a little bit more down the front of this right side. Root down through this front left heel. Lift up and out. So with this left hip crease, you really want to be able to get your finger in the gap that's here, so we're not hunching forwards. We're really standing tall, standing proud. From here, take a nice inhale as the arms sweep high. As we exhale, we'll make a cactus shape with the arms. So we bend into the elbows. Elbows are round about in line with the shoulders. Think about squeezing the shoulder blades together as you shine the heart space up and out. Inhale here. Exhale, find some softness. Inhale as we sweep the arms up high. As we exhale, hands come down, frame that front left foot. Take a deep inhale, shine the heart space up and out once again. As we exhale, we'll start to just straighten out through this front left leg. Doesn't have to straighten all the way out. Maybe it only moves an inch or so. Maybe you rock it out a little. We're just getting into these hamstrings down the back of that left leg. Take a nice deep inhale as we come forwards. From here, right hand plants into the mat. Take a deep inhale as the left hand sweeps up high, and we're twisting. So we're twisting towards this left leg. Maybe gaze up to the left fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down. We'll step that left leg back. We'll meet in our all fours. And then we'll push the hips up and back and find our downward dog. And then we'll just take that on our second side. So you can step the right foot forwards from here if that feels good, if you've got the space. Or you can bring the knees down, step that right foot out wide. I don't mind how you get there, but eventually we'll all meet with that right foot forwards between the hands. We're in that low lunge position on our second side. So right foot's forwards, right knee stacks over the right ankle. Stay super strong through that right foot. Take a nice deep inhale as we sweep the arms up high. As we exhale, bring the hands to the hips. We'll check in on our alignment once again. What's going on with this left hip? Maybe it's starting to peel backwards. Maybe it's trying to take the path of least resistance. Can we engage our glutes, the muscles in our bum, and start to pivot our hips to face forward. So this left hip wants to peel forwards as the right hip comes backwards. Root down through this front right heel. Grow long and tall and strong. Take a deep inhale as the hands sweep up high. Exhale, cactus shape with the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Shine up and out of the chest, of the heart space. Maybe take a gentle gaze upwards. Inhale as the arms sweep up high. As we exhale, hands come down, frame that front right foot. Once again, take an inhale, shine the chest up and out. As you exhale, start to straighten out through that front right leg. Maybe it doesn't straighten, maybe it only moves a centimeter, maybe it's just an intention. I have no interest in how deep we go into postures, just as long as it feels good. You can rock it out like I'm doing if that feels good to you, or if you just want to stay here with more of a static stretch. Hands can be on the floor. If you've got any bricks, you could pop the hands up onto bricks or books. Imagine I've got them here. Really nice. Take an inhale, we'll bend through that right knee once again. Left hand plants into the mat. Take a deep inhale as the right hand sweeps up high. We're twisting towards the right. Maybe the gaze turns upwards towards those right fingertips. Inhale here. Exhale, right hand comes down. We frame that front right foot, and then the right knee steps back, finds the left. We tuck the toes, push the hips up and back. We're back into our downward dog. And then from here, let's find that child's pose. Knees come down as wide as the mat. Big toes come together to touch. And we sit the bum back towards the heel. Maybe letting the forehead rest heavy into the mat. Noticing anything that starts to come up here. Noticing any narrative, perhaps. Anything that starts to bubble towards the surface. Just like we did at the start, let it come up. We are all human. That's just how our brain works. Let it come to the surface. Put that distance between you and those thoughts. With the breath, with compassion, let them flow on by. And then from your child's pose, you can just walk the hands back towards the knees, and you can meet me here in a kneeling position. Sitting on the heels, toes can be tucked or untucked. For some people, tucking the toes under like this is their idea of hell. It can be really quite intense for some people, down the soles of the feet. For some people, it can be a really lovely stretch. So you decide what we do with the toes here. We're just going to take a couple of minutes in this kneeling position. Take a deep inhale, we'll sweep the arms up high. Just like in our lunge, we'll cactus our arms. Really find activation through the shoulder blades. We're counteracting that office worker gremlin hunch. We're really counteracting that here. So make the most of it. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Inhale, grow tall through the heart space. As we exhale, we'll round through the spine as the forearms hug together. Take a deep inhale as we open up wide. This time, as we exhale, right elbow crosses over the left, and we'll give ourselves a big cuddle. Now, this might be where you stay, or if you want to try an eagle wrap with the arms, you can come with me. So we'll bring the backs of each hand together. Again, maybe this is where you stay, or maybe we go for the full wrap, and the palms of the hands find one another. So that left hand loops around the back of the right forearm and the palms find one another. So maybe you're hugging, maybe the backs of the hands are together, or maybe we're wrapping all the way around. Find something that works. Breathe into it. Think about reaching the elbows forwards and up. Find space across the upper back. Take a deep inhale, deep exhale. Inhale, unravel wherever you are, and we'll open back into that cactus. Exhale, hug the forearms together, round through the upper back. Inhale as we open up. Exhale, this time left elbow crosses over right, and we give ourselves a big cuddle once again. And again, you can stay here. Maybe the backs of the hands come together. Maybe the palms find one another and we're in our full eagle wrap with the arms. Wherever you are, find space across the upper back. Breathe into that space. Let the breath open up hidden pockets of energy and of space, of release. Take a nice deep inhale as we unravel. Final time, we'll cactus, make the most of it. As we exhale, hands come down to the mat. We'll sit our bum off to one side. Legs scooch out long in front. Soles of the feet find the mat. We'll reach the arms out in front. You can totally hold behind the thighs here if you want a little support. We're just going to come to lay down. So take a deep inhale here. Exhale to roll all the way down to the mat. And then we'll hug the knees into the chest. Take a deep inhale here. As you exhale, let the knees fall on over to the right hand side. Arms can open out into a T if that feels good. So the knees are falling over to the right. Arms may be opening into a T. Maybe the gaze comes down and looks towards those left fingertips. Find a nice gentle recline twist. As you inhale, we'll bring the knees through center. Use the hands to help as much as you need. And as we exhale, take the knees over to the other side. Again, maybe the gaze turns and looks down towards the right fingertips. Arms can be out in a T, or maybe you can make the cactus shape with the arms. Typically, for a lot of us, that'll be a bit more intense across the front of the chest. See how the options feel. As we inhale, we'll bring the knees through center. Exhale, plant the soles of the feet into the mat. We'll take one final asana, one final posture before we come to our Shavasana. Soles of the feet to the mat, heels within about touching distance. Knees really nice and parallel, knees pointing up to the sky, hip distance apart. Push through the heels, tuck the tailbone under, switch on the muscles in the bum. As we start to push the hips up high to the sky, we're into our bridge. Watch out for the knees splaying outwards here. See if we can keep hugging the inner thighs together. Keep the chin tucked into the chest. Gaze up towards the sky. That's a non-negotiable. Protect the neck here. You don't want to be looking around. You can really cause some mischief. Take a deep inhale. Find some more lift. As we exhale, roll down the spine. Tailbone lands to the mat. You can give yourself a nice cuddle. Squeeze the knees into the chest. And then we're going to come to our Shavasana, our final resting posture. So literally, we're coming to lay down, essentially. Legs stretch out long down the mat, around about as wide as the mat. You can let the feet knock out wide. Let the arms rest beside the body, traditionally palms face up. Head rests heavy into the mat. And then if it's feeling comfortable, you can close down the eyes. Breathing just as you are. Take your awareness to the crown of the head. Soften across the entire scalp. Relax the muscles in the forehead, around the eyes. Soften the jaw. Soften the entire face. Let the tongue rest in the bottom of the mouth. Relax all of the muscles in the neck. Soften the shoulders. Let each arm become heavy. Soften the chest, soften the upper back. Relax all the muscles of the abdominals. Soften the hips. Let the heavy thigh bones rest into the mat. Soften the knees. Soften the lower legs. Soften each ankle. Soften the feet. Let the entire body rest heavy into the mat. and enjoy this Shavasana. Whenever you're ready, start to bring some gentle movement into the hands and the feet. You can, of course, stay here if this feels really good, if you've got nowhere to be. Or if you want to wake the body back up again, start to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, start to circle out through the wrists, maybe circle out the ankles, maybe reach the hands up and overhead into a deep pencil stretch. And then give the knees a hug into the body. And then from here, we'll let the knees fall over to the right-hand side. We're into a fetal position. Typically, the right-hand side brings with it more energy. So inhaling here, and as you exhale, leave behind anything that's not going to serve you for the rest of today. And then with as little effort as possible, find a comfortable seat once again, just where we started. If it feels comfortable, closing down the eyes, bringing the hands together into the heart center space. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you enjoy this wonderful festival that the codebar team have put on. Take good care of yourselves, everybody. Thank you.